And welcome to the 12th Horseshoe podcast presented by Provo and Italian Eatery, Moonachie, New Jersey. Welcome to the Week 14 recap and happy holidays. Jack Rizzo, I'm Elijah Weintraub. Welcome to the show. There is a lot to talk about here in the NFL, and we also have a lot more to cover in Week 15. Your Week 15 Thursday Night Football pick coming your way in just a few moments. But first off, Jack, how are we doing today?
Happy Wednesday to you, Eli. Great to be back on the show. We had a pretty wild week 14, and we are getting to the final stretch of the NFL season. We're going to see a lot of teams clinch, a lot of teams be eliminated, and everyone in between. But certainly over these next couple weeks, Eli, we're going to find out multiple things. We're going to find out all the playoff teams. We're going to find out which team will have the number one overall pick. We're going to find out which head coaches won't be returning next year. It's going to be a crazy final few weeks of the NFL season, Eli, and I'm excited to watch it.
And the most important question, who makes the playoffs? That is the bottom line, because there is the window has just opened up bigger and better. Seattle, of course, got the win this weekend, which means they are the front runners to win the NFC West. However, it's not official. It's a tight race between Los Angeles and Arizona, if you minus San Francisco. You have Kansas City, who won, Denver in the loop. They're fighting for sure. Chargers took a loss this weekend. We'll get to those games again with the losses a little bit later on. Texans pulled off another win. Sorry, the Texans are on the bye. I taunted the game win for nothing. They're on a bye. Colts are on a bye. So mostly the teams that are really fighting, they're on a bye in that division there. The Ravens were on a bye as well. Steelers got an important victory there. So is the Bengals. However, I don't think the Bengals will make a far enough playoff run this year. I don't even think they'll make it, period, is my opinion. What else am I missing? We are going to go to the NFC East. We have Philadelphia and Washington still trying to fight in for a spot. Tampa Bay, they got a big victory this weekend. We'll go to the games again in just a moment. Atlanta probably going to be eliminated along with Carolina. And, of course, you have the what's the name I'm missing? Buccaneers, Falcons. I'm blanking, Jack. Help me out.
Dolphins.
Nope, not it.
Steelers. Vikings.
No, it's the Falcons, Panthers, Buccaneers.
Saints. That's the other team in that division.
Thank you. They have no shot. Thank you. I did not remember that one. All right, but yeah, that's pretty much a recap. Jack, any thoughts?
Well, we have to go through the individual games, Eli.
I know. I thought it was about the bracket.
I'll talk about Eli more so once we get to our individual games, because that's what we usually do.
Yeah, just ran off quick on my head.
So, yeah, no, that's cool.
Something new did not work out. Move along. Well, we were not here for the Thursday. We didn't have a Friday show, so we got to talk about the Thursday night game. And the Lions survived by a field goal kick, 34-30, won the final. We both got the Packers pick wrong, but what an exciting game. Both those teams fight to the end. Lions won it, but a little risky win there. More than likely, they're the winners of the division. So now it's just a matter of what they do the rest of the way and how they prepare for the playoffs.
Quite a contrast, Eli, from their previous meeting at Lambeau Field a month ago. This was an offensive game. Both teams went back and forth. Jordan Love, Jared Goff both played outstanding. But in the end, Eli, it was the Lions and their gutsy play calling from Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson that got them over the top. Got the game-winning field goal as time expired. And the Lions, Eli, clinched a playoff berth with this win. They're 12-1 now in first place. Will they win the division? That's still not guaranteed, Eli, because there's another team that's still only one game behind them.
That's the Vikings.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But for the Packers, Eli, they played well, didn't get the win, but the Packers will still be in the playoffs. They'll still be fine, but they've got to figure out how to beat the Lions, because if they can't beat the Lions, then they're not going to go far in the playoffs.
All righty, and that's a great point there. And a blowout one here. The Vikings, 42-21, a team also very close behind. They defeat the Falcons, 42-21, the Falcons, proving defeat pretty much after that loss. And
I don't really know what to say, Eli. The Falcons have lost 4 in a row. They were 6-3 a month ago, and now their chances at the playoffs are very, very slim. Their only way of getting any, Eli, is if they can win the division, and now they are not even in first place in the division anymore. So the Falcons don't control their own destiny anymore, Eli. And it's funny because this was a tie game at the end going into the fourth quarter, but the Vikings scored 3 touchdowns to put the game away. Sam Darnold had an outstanding performance, maybe the best of his career. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison both had outstanding games, and so much, Eli, for the Kirk Cousins revenge game because his team got shelled by Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings. And the Vikings at 11-2, Eli, they've easily been the biggest surprise in the NFL this season. I believe they have not clinched yet. Actually, I think they did clinch. I believe they did clinch last week.
The Vikings, I'll double check on that.
But either way, though, Eli, they are good. Okay, so they actually did not clinch.
They did not, no.
They did not clinch, but they can clinch this weekend. But
correct.
They should be in, Eli, and once they're in, Eli, they are not a team to mess around with. They're such a well-rounded football team, so don't mess with the Vikings.
Don't mess with them, indeed. Now, we have a comment from John. He says, do you all think the Lions are the biggest obstacle to the Chiefs and their 3 quest for a 3 championship to win the Super Bowl 3 straight times? My answer, I think, is a no. Why do I think it's a no? Because, well, this is a team that just almost lost to the Bears on Thanksgiving. They cut it close to the Packers. And the only possible way that we could see these two teams is the Super Bowl. And I don't think we may see the Lions in the Super Bowl, although, I mean, I was hoping to see it happen. It may not, depending on how these other teams play in the playoffs. I don't think that they're, a top obstacle right now that the Chiefs have to worry about. I don't know if maybe Philadelphia might be the top one that the Chiefs could worry about at the moment. But even then, I think the Chiefs still have an easy road to the Super Bowl winning it all, as long as if they play better football.
Well, I will say this, Eli. It's a good point, but here's my philosophy. The Kansas City Chiefs, their biggest obstacle, Eli, is their next football game. That's the philosophy. Every game for the Chiefs, their most important game is the next game. It's not who they play in the Super Bowl because they have to get to the Super Bowl, Eli. And we know the Chiefs like to keep things close. That's how they've been all season. And the Chiefs really could lose any of these games. So once it gets to the playoffs, Eli, they're not going to get away with sloppy performances against the Raiders and the Panthers and all these other really bad teams. So the Chiefs have a lot to clean up. If they get to the Super Bowl, we don't even know if it's going to be the Lions because the Lions and the Chiefs don't play this season. And the NFC has a lot of good teams. You got the Eagles, you got the Vikings, the Packers are still there.
Great teams.
The Seahawks or the Rams could be a surprise, even Tampa Bay. So I wouldn't say the Lions are the biggest obstacle yet. If they play in the Super Bowl, then yes, obviously it would be their biggest obstacle. But I think it's tough to say that, because they also don't play in the same conference. So I think it's a little hard to judge there.
Well, thanks for your comment. Of course, anybody who's watching, feel free to comment and let us know your thoughts on everything that has happened. By the way, Jack went 8-5 this week and 2-1 on LSU. I unfortunately went back to the losing streak, going 7-6 and 2-1 on LSU. And speaking of LSU, we both got the survivor pick right for this next team, the Buccaneers, who took a big victory over the Raiders, 28-13. The Raiders showing to be struggling once again, but the Buccaneers proved to be a very dominant team right now and look like the front runners to win the division for sure.
It feels like, Eli, the Raiders have gone back and forth like 10 different times with their quarterbacks this season. And now Aiden O'Connell's out for – he's not actually – it was originally feared to be out for the season. He has a bone bruise. He might play next week. He might not. We'll just have to see what happens. But it really doesn't matter, Eli. This is just not a very good football team. Outside of Max Crosby and Brock Bowers and maybe Jacoby Myers, there's not really much to like here, Eli. It was an easy win for the Bucs at home. Tampa Bay, they have done a really good job these last couple weeks coming back from their early season slump, Eli. And I think the Bucs are without a doubt going to win this NFC South division and be a threat in the playoffs, just like they were last year. They started out slow, came back, won the division, won a playoff game, nearly won another. It feels like a repeat of last season, Eli, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So good win for them. Raiders, you just got to hope the season ends soon.
Well, not as bad as the other teams we'll talk about in just a little bit. But let's go to the Steelers, who got a big victory over the Browns, 27-14. I had the Browns run upset thinking that it would happen again, but it did not. Not the case there. Steelers showing to be a surprisingly good team. Is it crazy to say that we're thinking that right now the Pittsburgh Steelers are a good team? I never thought I would have to be saying that, especially with Russell Wilson as quarterback. I really did not think that would be a possibility. But I don't think it's him. It all comes down to Mike Tomlin. I think that is what's saving this team, not so much the quarterback. Just want to point that out there.
Well, Eli, who said before the season that Mike Tomlin was going to get another
Jack,
winning season?
You were right.
I was the only one who said the Steelers were going to have a winning record. Not only do they have a winning record,
and who on the 12 Horseshoe podcast said that the Jets would have a losing record?
Eli, we're talking about the Steelers right now. Stop changing the subject.
It's okay. I got to change the subject.
We're not changing periods in school, Eli, right now. But either way, the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, another 10-win season. He has never had a losing record during his time as the Steelers head coach. I'll continue to mention that until he does have a losing season as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. And to be honest, Eli, I had the Steelers winning by close, but I felt pretty confident because Mike Tomlin, if he loses to a team, he'll be prepared to face that team again the next time they play them. And losing to the Browns just 2 weeks previously, they knew what the Browns were made of, and they came ready to play in front of their home crowd. And the Steelers, Eli, another team that nobody's going to want to face in the playoffs. And considering, Eli, that George Pickens missed the last game, once he comes back, this team will be unstoppable on both sides of the ball.
All right, good points there. And what a sloppy game this was. But a shocking win. The Jaguars win over the Titans 10-6, but they're eliminated from the playoffs, so really didn't mean much to them. However, the Titans showed again that they cannot play good football.
Well, Eli, it's hard to say that this was a shocking win because both of these teams have just played really poorly this season. So it was an interesting game, but the Jaguars end up getting the win, Eli. I don't really have much to say. It was such a boring game. If anybody watched this, I'm sorry. But either way, Jaguars, Titans, both probably going to have top 5 picks next year. Actually, maybe not even that. There's a lot of bad teams this season. Like you've got the Giants with 2 wins and the Raiders with 2 wins.
The Jets with 3 wins.
3 wins. Yeah, the Jets with 3 wins. Exactly. So it'll be interesting to see. Like, the draft positioning this year is actually going to be a pretty competitive lottery pick to see who gets the number 1 overall pick. And
I've never seen such a bad
The thing though, Eli, is that in this upcoming draft class, we don't really know who the number 1 overall pick is going to be. There's a lot of decent quarterbacks. You could even have like a Travis Hunter be number 1 or somebody else, but it's not like previous drafts, Eli, where we know who the number 1 overall pick is. Like with Caleb Williams last year, Trevor Lawrence a couple years ago, same with Joe Burrow, same with Kyler Murray. So it's going to be interesting to see, Eli, what ends up happening with who ends up getting that first overall pick.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, by the way. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
But I do want to point out here that I do think that this is weird. That all these teams, I think this might be one of the sloppiest seasons I've seen in the NFL for sure. Like, by far. I mean, I've not seen not one standout good team on both sides. I can't name that one team. I'll be quite honest with you because there's been weaknesses. And even with the winning record, such as Philadelphia, the Buffalo Bills, and the Eagles, not Eagles twice, the Lions, I just don't see anything good. I think this might be one of the sloppy seasons I think I've seen.
I'd actually say the Vikings. I'd say the Vikings are a really well-balanced team on both sides of the ball. That's the team I would go with.
And I'm saying, like, the teams that, like, overall, like, this is the sloppiest season by far in the NFL. That's my point is.
I get that, but I don't really think the Vikings have been sloppy. I think they've been a really just strong, complete football team, especially they showed that last week, their blowout win.
Yeah, my point is I think it's a sloppy season overall, and it's weird because, again, we don't have, like those mentioned, top guys coming out in the draft. We don't know who it is, as you mentioned. So it's the weird timing for everything, and that's why I wanted to point out there.
Yeah, that's fair.
We'll move along to the next game now. The Eagles get the victory over the Panthers, 22-16. Panthers showing that, you know what, we might not be good this year. We're still trying our hardest, but there's always next year. Philadelphia proving that they are another strong, dominant team as it gets closer to the playoff run. Jack?
Yeah, Eli, I actually expected this from the Eagles. I expected them to be a little bit sloppy because having won their last 8 games or whatever it was, I thought the Eagles might be a little sloppy in this one. They certainly were, but they still got the win, though, Eli. Another strong game from their defense. That Eagles defense is having a fantastic season. But Bryce Young continues to show growth, Eli, and come next year, Eli, the Panthers could be considered a big threat in the NFC South, especially with how much money their owner, David Tepper, likes to spend in free agency. So expect a big offseason from Carolina, and they could be a threat in the NFC next year. Just have to get through this season first.
Yeah. All right. The next one on the list, well, not the list, whatever, games in order. The Dolphins defeat the Jets in overtime. Jets trying to get a win. No, it did not happen. They lose in overtime, 32-26. They're eliminated from the playoffs. It is the longest streak in NFL history, not in NFL history, United States, really, for any major professional sports team to miss the playoffs so many times. So congratulations on that for the Jets and your Jets organization and fans. Let's give them a hand there. But another thing I want to point out here, I'm really just so happy that I got my pick right for the standings. Like I said it, like they're not going to have a winning season. Like nobody listened to me. I had George walk off the set. We had boos. We had complaints on the NFC show about it. And look who's still right. Comeback of the player year was absolutely wrong. 100%. But at least I got that part right.
Yeah. Yep, it's me. It's Eli with the Jets, and it's Jack with the Pittsburgh Steelers. See, we're both right. Jason and George, I have to go back and look and see what they were right about. Definitely not the Vikings going 2-15 or the Cowboys winning the division again. Definitely not those.
No, that was not even close.
Oh, wow, Vikings 2-15. They only have 2 losses right now. That's crazy.
Swap that around.
Well, either way, Eli, I don't really have much to say about this game. I'm actually surprised the Jets kept it close, but the Dolphins ultimately end up getting the win in overtime. So that's really all I've got, Eli. I don't really believe in the Miami Dolphins. Even if they make the playoffs, I think they're going to be one and done. I just don't really think they're that great, and we'll just have to see what happens the rest of the season.
Let's go to the other New York team that's just as better. They lose 14-11 to the New Orleans Saints, and wow. That's all I could say. Just wow. It's bad. Yeah.
Eli, I think for the sake of our viewers, we could just forget about this game. We don't want to traumatize them with how bad of a game this was. I think we could just go ahead and move on to the next one. We both got the pick right. The Saints got the win. I think we can leave it at that.
Yeah, well, that's bottom line. Well, game I'm happy about. The Seattle Seahawks, they beat the Cardinals 30-18. I'm thrilled. Jack, you picked the Cardinals for some reason. Why? I don't know. I can't tell you why.
I don't know either.
I really don't understand why you did that. But hey, I'm proud of the Seahawks. They got the win. And oh, hey, Bobby.
What's up, Jack? What's up, Eli?
Hi, guys.
Going?
Hi, guys.
We're talking about Seahawks Cardinals, and I'm happy as a Seahawks fan. You got any thoughts on the game?
I just want to pop in and say hello to my friend Jack. Hi, Jack.
Oh, thank you, Bobby. I appreciate you coming in specifically to see me.
Yeah, because next week I have a big game. Notre Dame versus Indiana.
Go Hoosiers. Go Hoosiers.
No.
Hoosiers.
Go Notre Dame.
No. You don't. You guys at home don't understand. Everyone better be supporting the Cream and Crimson next week. Supporting the Indiana Hoosiers.
What's up, fellas? How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you, Bobby?
I'm about to go on a conference call, so I saw you guys are on StreamYard. I'm going to be on a different platform. So I just want to pop in and say hello. You guys doing great as always.
Thanks,
Appreciate
it.
Let's touch base before basketball next week, baby.
Yeah, we got basketball coming up.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
For those of you watching at home.
Yeah.
Right here on Search Sports TV, all season, St. Mary Gales coverage.
Absolutely.
See you guys later, man. Keep it up.
Right. Thank you, Bobby. All right, Jack. Seahawks Cardinals. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, Eli. It was just the Cardinals are frauds. I don't know why I picked them. I mean, I had reasons to, because they nearly beat the Vikings last week, and they've had some really good games. Yeah, they've beaten some really solid teams. But yeah, Eli, this is just bad. This is just an embarrassment at home, Eli. And Kyler Murray stinks. He really does. So I'm gonna use your terminology with Joe Burrow with Kyler Murray. Short little midget. He's so bad.
I'm sorry, folks. We do
no.
to say that in any wrong way.
Kyler
did not mean that intentionally.
Kyler Murray. No, I did, because Kyler Murray's making $230 million. So I don't really
you cannot say that.
I don't care what he thinks. We can just move on. Good win for the Seahawks.
We apologize for those who
No.
We don't. And I don't mean towards the Kyler Murray situation, but those who are affected on that particular stuff. We do apologize on behalf of the 12th Horseshoe podcast. We do like to move along, however. To the next game. The Bills. They lose to the Rams 44-42. What did Eli say last week, Jack? What did he say?
I don't really care what you said last week, because the Rams are much better than that record shows they are.
Washy team is the Rams. But what did Eli say about the Bills in the playoffs? What did he say?
The Bills lost by 2 points, Eli. Calm it down. The Eagles nearly
lost the game by more than that, Jack.
The Chiefs aren't ready for the playoffs. What have the Chiefs done? They've done nothing.
Nothing. What's helping them is the refs.
Exactly.
Bottom line. We knew that already.
Move on.
We're not even going to talk about Bills Rams?
Oh, no. Move on with the game, because you keep talking about,
Okay, go ahead.
Well, it was a great win for the Rams. I love this Rams team. I love Matthew Stafford, love Puka Nacua, love Cooper Kupp, and I love Sean McVay. He's a great coach, and I am really looking forward to hopefully seeing the Rams in the playoffs. They have a chance. Even if they don't win the division, they could be a wild card team. Wild card's pretty weak this year, so I'm excited to see the Rams, Eli, in the playoffs. Hopefully. I want to see them in the playoffs.
Hopefully not.
Don't listen to him, guys. He's a troll.
I'm a
Let's move
Seahawks
on.
fan, Jack. That's why we don't want to see the Rams. Okay. I
Well,
don't
you
wanna
might
see the
have
Cardinals
to.
either. So that's why we'll root for
We
any
won't.
other
We won't. We won't
NFC
be. We won't
team.
be seeing the Cardinals.
I don't want to see the Rams. Bottom line. Okay.
Move on.
Well, another boring one. 49ers defeated the Bears 38-13. What should have been a big win for the Bears? No, not the case there. What happened to the 49ers? Well, they woke up, they smelled the coffee, and they got a victory here despite some injuries. They did get a victory here, but I do not trust the 49ers, especially this week versus the Los Angeles Rams, which we'll get to that game just a little bit. Go ahead, Jack.
About the 49ers. Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know why we picked the Bears, but that's all I've
Move
got to
along.
say. Yeah, move along.
By the way, the bye week teams this week were the Ravens, Broncos, Texans, Colts, Patriots, Commanders.
Yes, we're on a bye week.
Over to Sunday Night Football. The Chargers defeated the Chiefs defeated the Chargers 19-17. There you go. Add that to the blooper reel for the end of the season. Chiefs defeated the Chargers 19-17. What happened there? The Chiefs waited again based off a field goal kick, and they won because the refs really helped them out.
Yeah. Chiefs won. Refs didn't help them out. They got the clean win. The Chargers just couldn't get it done. And for the second straight week, the Chiefs win 19-17. They win the division, and they'll probably win the Super Bowl again. Moving on.
Yep, we can all agree about that one. But we cannot agree on this one. The Bengals beat the Cowboys 27-20, and what should have been a win for the Cowboys? No, not the case there. The Bengals actually do get one, and their team actually held together for once. So congratulations on that regards. But what are your thoughts there, Jack?
The Bengals got a great win, Eli, even though they didn't really earn the win. They kind of were just handed it to them. Yeah, that's all I've really got. I don't really like either of these two teams. They're two wishy-washy teams, and neither of them will be in the playoffs. So that's really all I've got there.
All right, then. Well, that is it for our Week 14 recap. Now it's time to make our Week 15 pick for Thursday Night Football. San Francisco's favored by 2 points as they are home to take on the Rams on Thursday Night Football, 8:15 p.m. on Prime Video. I'm going to go ahead and take the Rams in the victory here. I think it's going to be a close one, 28-21 the final.
I have the Rams as well. I have the Rams 27-21. I think they're the better team right now. I don't really care if they're on the road. They beat the 49ers early in the season. They're going to do it again here. Matthew Stafford is another big performance on the road, and I think the Rams helped their playoff push with a big division win on the road.
Well, that will do it for us here on the 12th Horseshoe Podcast. We thank you so much for joining us. Go Seahawks, go Devils, and we will see you on Friday at 7 o'clock for our Week 15 picks.
Go Colts.
Go
Good night,
Seahawks,
everyone.
go Devils. Goodbye, everyone.